If you can't compete with China in a certain product, you just designate that product as a national security threat to the United States of America, and those protectionism laws come in really, really handy in the States. What was it, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I put out that spy crane video, and in that video, because the cranes at ports are a national security risk. Hell, garlic is a national security risk. I know. So Secretary of Commerce Ronaldo in the United States went on a video stating that Chinese electric vehicles are like iPhones on wheels. Beijing can shut them all down at the same time, so they're obviously a national security risk to the United States of America. If you can't compete, like, let's go back about 4 years, and when Trump was in as president, well, he knew that they couldn't compete with the electric vehicle competition coming out of China, because there's so many electric vehicle companies and there's so much competition, and things are just less expensive over here, that he knew that they wouldn't be able to compete in this sector, and it would just devastate the electrical vehicle automotive industry in the United States. So he tacked on a 27.5% tariff on electric vehicles coming out of China to the United States. But that wasn't enough. Now they're looking at banning all Chinese electric vehicles because they can't compete. No, they say it's national security threat, but it is because they just can't compete. Ronaldo says iPhones on wheels. All of these electric vehicles are iPhones on wheels. So does that mean that the Americans, because you know the Americans, if they say something, chances are they're doing it themselves. That's how they know it can be done. They're saying that iPhones are collecting information on Chinese citizens and sending it back to the United States. Are you saying that Tesla vehicles in China are gathering information and sending it back to the United States? Could they shut down all of the iPhones in China all at the same time, or all the Teslas all at the same time? You know, the Chinese don't call Tesla and iPhones and such a national security threat. You know why? Because they don't need that excuse to compete with anybody else around the world. It's just the way it is. So when the United States comes up with this national security threat, you know it's because they can't compete in that sector. Or they did it to the Uyghurs too, up in Xinjiang Autonomous Region. See, I picked this place because national security threat, and I've got a big government official-looking building behind me, so there you go. But they used the Uyghurs and forced labor and internment camps and everything to ban cotton, to ban tomatoes, to ban anything that was made by Uyghurs to compete in those sections of the economy. Cotton's big in the United States, big in Xinjiang Autonomous Region too. How do we compete? Well, we just blacken the eye of China and make them look bad, and then we can ban those products from that area. So why doesn't China ban Ford, Chrysler, Chevy products, Dodge? Why don't they ban the iPhones? Why don't they? Well, because chances are they're made here in China, or parts of them are made here in China, or they're assembled here in China, or you know what I mean? So why would they? You see, China works along with other countries to make it better for their citizens and for the citizens of the other country. So you can buy iPhones in the United States a lot cheaper than you would be able to buy them if they were made in the United States. And China employs people, and they make products for Ford Company and Chevrolet and all of these other companies. So why would they hamstring themselves like the United States is doing? They don't need to do that. They don't need to pull the national security card out of their pocket every time they think they have to compete with somebody. That's what the United States is doing, and you know what? they're picking one product at a time, and one product, and the bigger products, like EVs is big business all around the world now. But they're picking these things, and they're distancing themselves from China. Why are they doing that? Well, because they become so reliant on China that they can't live without them. So they're trying to distance themselves. But you see, it won't work. It's like their Build Back Better. Where did that go? It went nowhere. Every time they do something, it's just a talking point. It just makes things more expensive for their citizens. But I don't think the politicians really care. It's all about face. It's all about the big corporations. And you hear this from me all the time. The big corporations are pulling the strings in the United States. So if the big corporations like Ford or Apple, iPhone, whatever, if they want the American government to help them compete with the Chinese, they'll pull strings and get those politicians to do it. They just have to put money in their pockets. And you see it over and over and over again, where a politician gets in and they got no money, and then 10 years later they're a multi-millionaire. And this is exactly how it happens. They take money to make policy that helps the big corporations in the West. Simple and easy. So last Thursday, Biden's administration moved to ban electric vehicles made out of China, and chances are it will go through, and EVs that are made in China won't be available in the United States. It's basic protectionism by the government of the United States to try to protect their automotive industry, because they can't compete, because wages are too high. Things are really expensive in the United States, and they know that they can't compete. So the only way that they can compete is by banning these products in the United States, so that their corporations can sell to their people. Yeah, and I would imagine that the European Union will be right behind them. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they'll all be in the same boat here in no time, because they take their cue from the big bully on the block, the United States of America. So, if you're an American out there and you wanted to buy an electric vehicle, but you can't afford it because you're not one of the rich people, and the only electric vehicles on the market are $70,000 or higher, you got to buy a Tesla, 100K. You can't buy a BYD electric vehicle because they're just not going to be available in the United States. Why? Because your government has taken it upon themselves to call it a national security threat, to make it so the big corporations, the big electric vehicle companies in the Western world don't have to compete with the Chinese. So, little guy, hello. You know what I mean? So the idea is that they're making it more expensive for you. Your big polluting 4x4 trucks and cars, and your ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, are going to be the only thing that you can afford. Is this better for the United States? No. Is it better for the citizens of the United States? No. Is it better for the world? No. Is it better for the American economy? No. It's only good for those big, rich corporations, the ones that are putting billions of dollars in their pockets and putting millions of dollars in the politicians' pockets. You know it, I know it, they know we know it, but nobody ever steps up to the plate and holds them accountable for it. Why not? Because that's just the way it is. That's the American way. And that, my friends, is another video from Gweilo 60. Out in front of a big government-looking building, a very official-looking building, because we're talking national security today, guys. And you can't talk national security if you're walking in a park. But then again, if you look around, there's a whole bunch of little kids playing in the park. It's sort of like a park. It's grandparents and mothers and fathers and little kids and stuff. And they're riding bikes and just playing. This is what it's supposed to be like. Not like it is over there. Anyway, That's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. Do all of those things. And until next time, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye now.